But I thought what he said about Mississippi State basketball was really, really interesting. Right? He said, AP voters kind of lagging behind net rankings when you see Mississippi State at number 5. And because of where they are in the net and how that factors into NCAA tournament seeding, a 500 mark in league play might be good enough.
Yeah, what did he say? He had hay in the barn. I would say they have like some cushion. They have some breathing room that if they do lose a few games in a row, which they might do because they're not a good offensive team right now. But if they lose 3 games in a row, it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, if your net is 5th at this point, by the end of the month, these next 4 games, 3 of them are not good for the net. The Minnesota game, Jackson State, Nichols, those are not great net teams. Drake is a pretty good net team. I think they're in the 50s. But your net shouldn't be much lower than 25, 30 at worst if it drops. I mean, that's a place where if you finish 500 in league play or even maybe a game below, you're going to be fine. I mean, we're not talking about on the bubble. We're talking about 5, 6 seed. That's what Lenardi had them as in bracketology that he released on Tuesday, that he had them as a 6 seed, which is mind-boggling to me. But that's where you are right now, that you've given yourself some rope if you need it.
And then the opportunities come fast and furious, right? Alabama, right out of the gate. They've already got a win over North Carolina. Now, North Carolina has dropped out of the top 25, but regardless.
Yeah, they're still in North Carolina. They're still going to be good at the end of the year.
Tennessee in game 2 of league play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's on the road.
Yeah.
Ole Miss at home, rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so what? Out of those first 3, what does State needs its record to be after 3 games in SEC play? Alabama, Tennessee on the road, Ole Miss.
I mean, if you're 1-2, you're still in really good shape.
Okay.
Need to beat Ole Miss. That's the game, especially because we've had this discussion so many times, right? About how Howland would continually lose that first game to Ole Miss and just sort of let the air out of the balloon. State needs that one. It's at home. You got to win that game. If you can beat Alabama, that's just going to be extra whipped cream on the pie. You'll take that. But Tennessee on the road, that's a tough one. I mean, they're a good team. But if they're 1-2 after the first 3, that would put them, assuming they win their non-conference games, that would put them at 13-2, 15 games in. Mm-hmm. Who's not taking that?
Next 3 are Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee. You got to beat Georgia. Have to beat Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do this whole thing, we can do it, and maybe it'll be like football where I absolutely nailed it.
Maybe.
100% got it right.
All right, so you were 1-2 after 3, right?
Yeah.
All right, so for the next
3, 4.
Well, let's just
3.
We'll do it 3 at a time. Georgia, Auburn, Tennessee.
Right. Do you get Tennessee at home? But even if you're 2-4,
okay,
it's not the end of the world. So let's just be we'll play conservative here, and we'll say 2-4.
All right, next 3 SEC games, and I say that because on January 28th, Mississippi State steps outside the SEC for the SEC Big 12 Challenge.
Right.
They'll play TCU. So the next 3 SEC games, Florida in Starkville, Alabama in Tuscaloosa, South Carolina in Columbia.
I'd like to be 2-1 in that. I'd like to beat Florida and South Carolina.
All right, so now you're 4-5 after 9 games.
Yeah.
Missouri at home, LSU at home, at Arkansas. You got to go 2-1, right?
Got to go 2-1. Yeah. So you would be 6 and
6
and 6 at this point. Yeah.
All right. So you're
taking
6-6 with 6 games to play in the conference. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, you are comfortably in the NCAA tournament.
Arkansas in Fayetteville, Kentucky in Starkville, Ole Miss in Oxford.
What a stretch! You'd like. I mean, 1-2 is probably getting the win at Ole Miss would be really good.
All right, so now
Don't
you're
want to go
7-3
0-3 in that stretch.
Yeah, now you're 7-8 in the league, but listen to the closing three. Missouri on the road, A&M in Starkville, South Carolina in Starkville.
You have a real chance to be 3-0 in that, but I'll say 2-1. And that would be 9-9, right?
That would be 9-9. You got to go 3-0 in those last.
You're in. You're absolutely 100% in if they get that schedule. I think they're in at 8-10, to be honest, with the way they're set up right now, assuming they don't tank one of these non-conference games.
I messed up one somehow. There's also Vandy at the end. I don't know where I messed up, but somewhere along the way I missed. So, yeah, you need to finish 4-0.
4-0 would be a lot. That'd be a lot to do.
Missouri, A&M, South Carolina, Vandy in the Final Four?
Mississippi State is not so good that they can just show up and they're going to win. All right, they can slip up. They are capable of slipping up. You do have 3 of those at home too. 3 straight home games to finish the year. Might be the return of big crowds. It might finally happen.
That's it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What am I looking? Oh, it does say Nashville. Never mind. Never mind.
3 of the last 5 are on the road.
Then you just stay in Nashville for the SEC tournament.
I guess you could do that. Of course, if you don't play until Wednesday or Thursday, maybe you don't have to.
You can go to Biscuit Love, stand in line there. It'll be about that long a wait.
Yeah, didn't Luke Bryan have a bar there? You'll be fine.
I haven't been to that one. I've been to Jason Aldean's.
Pancake Pantry?
Yes.
People love to bang on Pancake Pantry as being overrated. You're just wrong. It's good.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
A little hot chicken. All's good.
Are you allowing yourself to get excited?
Yeah, I am. I like I said, they've given themselves some cushion. That if something does go a little wrong midway, as long as they can correct it. Somebody asked me in the rumblings on the Thunder and Lightning podcast that, have they exceeded your expectations regardless of how the season finishes? No. If they lose 12 straight at some point, no. Obviously, that would not be the case. But for where they are right now, they're so far ahead of my expectations, it's hard to comprehend. Never would have dreamed they'd be ranked on December the 7th. Never would have thought that.
So going into the year, you weren't going to pick them to lose to Corpus Christi or Akron or Pine Bluff or South Dakota.
I didn't think they'd get a win
to
in
Marquette and Utah?
Probably.
Okay.
If Howland were still the coach, I think they'd have 3 losses. They'd have lost both of those tournament games, and they'd have lost another one along the way.